Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning. You are watching Live Day Trading with me, Speculator Seth, and I left the door open. Hold on just a second. Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. Guys, you know what? Here's the thing. I am just so excited. By the way, if you are not looking at the screen right now, you know, you got it like running in the background, you come and look at the screen, because this is amazing. We got a camera. We got the camera working with the cam link. It looks amazing. I'm so pumped. It looks so great. It actually looks a little bit too good. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you are watching on replay, or if you're watching right now, hit that like button. And if you're watching on replay, please scroll down to the comments and let me know how you did today, what you thought of the action. I love to keep track of what you guys are doing. So we just have such a great community and I love it so much. By the way, we had so many comments and likes on yesterday's video. It was great. All right. So thank you guys very, very much. So enough of, being super excited about the camera. And man, I was like really screwed up the intro today too. Now, one caveat. I don't have the AC adapter for the camera yet, so it's only gonna work for like an hour, and then we're gonna have to go over to the regular webcam. Anyways, oh yes, we've got to come over here. Oh yes, so now I've made it like much bigger. Isn't that great? I think that looks good. Okay, but first, to the charts. So, we've had a significant move up in the treasuries, right? I don't see any particular news or anything like that. It's just up, nice, steady moves. Okay, E-mini down a little bit. Nothing too huge, but they did overcome the past 2 days. There's still that point of control at 30.9150. Looks awfully tempting. There's the open, by the way. They are selling it. They are selling on the open. Well, this in the E-mini looks really tempting. Obviously, well, I don't want, maybe not obviously, but of course, they're going to say, man, I'm having a hard time figuring out which scene is which. Obviously, they're going to say that the markets are moving on trade tensions. I mean, why else would they move? And when you go to CNBC, that's their explanation. But I don't see any particular news causing it happen. So maybe that's why the treasuries are coming back a little bit here on the open. I don't know. It's a little... See if we got anything. Donald Trump saying anything fun? White House confidence grows as hearings wear on. Quoting the Washington Times, this is just an attempted takedown of the Republican Party by the do-nothing Democrats. It will never work. The 3-year hoax continues, says Donald Trump. Nothing about China yet. I'm wondering maybe Mr. Hu will tweet again today. Because his tweet... I mean, here's the thing. Hu said something yesterday, and Donald Trump said something yesterday. And the market just kind of shrugged it off. Oh, yes. So another thing, we have some Facebook groups. So let me gather that information together here. Where is my notepad, by the way? That would help. Don't need that. So I'm going to close all these windows here. Hopefully this weekend, I had an article that I was writing that I had to get out. But now that is out of the way, maybe we can make some changes to the robot if I get some extra time in the evening. Okay, so put one here. Copy link. This is Treasuries. And then I made another one for order flow. Copy link. Okay. And then let's see here. Does my Facebook link go? No, it does not. That's interesting. Okay. So we'll do it here. Okay, so all these links here. I'm going to put these links in the video description here. Where is the video description? Right here, edit. So I'm going to put these links in the video description. Good morning, RZH. Wait, is that wrong? Or is that someone else new? Is that a new name? If it's a new name, then thank you for tuning in and talking with us. So here's the links. I'm going to post them here in chat as well. Oh, it says I have too many characters. Hold on. Okay, we'll just do it that way. Okay. There we go. Okay, so I got 3 links there. One is my Facebook page. One is a group that we created for order flow, and another is a group that we created for treasuries. So we've already actually got quite a few people from Discord came in and joined those groups. But if you're not a part of those groups, go ahead and join that. And I think that going forward, that will be one of the more active places to go when we're not streaming to interact. Oh, yes, it is wrong. Okay, cool. And yeah, I'm going to be pretty liberal with those groups. So you can put any kind of, spam or funny memes or whatever you want in there. So it should be fun. Look forward to seeing how what happens, what we do. Okay, now they came down to 22.5. There's an iceberging on both sides. So kind of some distribution in this area. It makes me a little bit wary of taking a trade at the moment. Do we have news in 4 minutes, by the way? Building permits and housing starts. All right, we'll do it that way. Also, we should start this buddy up. Turn off the TTS. By the way, what do you guys think of having the camera down in the corner a little bit bigger? I set it up to fill that whole section. So you can't see Bitcoin and the E-mini Vista chart anymore. But we can, we can do that, right? You want to see that. View docs. Yes. Cool. All right. I think we're in good hands. We can kind of relax. Okay, so, and again, if you haven't hit that like button, go ahead, hit that like button. It really helps out. Yesterday's video, I think, helped grow the channel a lot because so many of you hit the like button and left comments afterwards. And, it helps when we have a good trade too. But thank you. Thank you very much. Tick up there, 23.6K to overcome it. And I see that things in Iran are not going so well. 100 protesters killed in Iran amid largest internet shutdown in nation's history. It's, a little interesting. Back in the 80s, basically these crowds would come and protest and demand the government step down. And the leaders would be like, well, this isn't going to work. And they would step down. And the lesson, apparently, that world leaders learned from this wasn't, don't be oppressive. But instead, that if your populace is rising up against you, to crush them with an iron fist. And that is what is happening on Iran. And China is threatening to do that too. And I just find it incredibly disheartening. Anyways, 1 minute here going into the news. I guess is oil moving today? I'm seeing some squawks about oil. Well, they haven't opened yet. Haven't really opened yet. 6 currencies are also just kind of look all over the place. No, there it's giving me that. Oh, not receiving enough data thing. I think we're fine though. Yeah, it looks like we're okay. Oh, I should have changed the encoder today. Oh, well. Oh, well. Okay, there's the news. I didn't see any reaction to it. Must mean that it was all in line. Okay, building permits. Oh, no, it was not. Building permits, we got a reading of 1.46 versus an expected reading of 1.39. That's building permits better than expected. Housing starts 1.31 versus an expected 1.32. Well, that's curious. I mean, that would be positive. Maybe a little bit down. There's a down tick, at least. I did see a little bit of a spike before this. Probably some people getting out before the news, though. So, if everybody got out, and that's a really loud car outside. If people have gotten out and we're not seeing any movement here again, then that means that people just don't want to take positions. Alligator says, I can give you them, but shh. Well, folks, this might be a slow trading session. This might be a slow trading session. Which sucks because we have the I mean, come on. This is so great, guys. It's so great. My skin is a little shiny. We might need to do something about that. Looking all the way over here. To actually see myself, I have to, pull it over here. Actually see myself. I have to look like all the way in the corner. And I am looking down. I wish, well, when I'm looking here, I'm looking up. So that's probably not too bad. But my head is just super shiny. We might have to do something about that. We're going to go ask some experts about that tonight. Okay, so there was a little bit of a move there, 22.5. They're pushing back still. Oh. He wants to hold it there. Okay. Where was that click? That click was way out there. I don't know. That was kind of interesting, folks. I mean, at the moment, the market is acting like it's not, nobody's really taking positions. But then we did just have a fairly significant click and 2 ticks down. Alligator reacted with face with monocle. By the way, is this working? Yeah, it's working.
Speculator Seth says test.
Yeah, we're cool. Okay. I was just making sure. I was like, is there something wrong? No, I think we're okay. The FTC is coming for YouTubers now. Where is... I want to pull up my... some of my notes here. I'm making sure that I got everything here. Bum. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay. I don't know. It's kind of makes you think about expectations. Like Wednesday is a day that we typically see a lot of action. And then we're going here. I'm not necessarily seeing what I would expect to see on a Wednesday.
Says crap opening, confused face.
Yeah, it's a crap opening, right? But I think especially in trading, we can really let our expectations mess us up. Like, it's a Wednesday, we expect to see something amazing. What if this was a Monday? We'd just be like, whatever. You know what I mean? It makes me think about this. I know this is going to be a little bit of a leap, but it makes me think of this OK Boomer thing. It makes me think of that. Let me explain to you why. It seems to me that different generations seem to have different expectations about what they're going to get out of life. So you notice like there's all this complaining about millennials, but how come we don't see complaining about Generation X? Like, I remember when I was a kid, they would say, oh, Generation X they're slackers, and I don't know if they're ever going to be able to amount to anything, and I'm really concerned about what's going to happen to that generation when they get older, if they're going to be able to survive in the world. People don't necessarily say that about the millennials. Like, they're like, millennials, they work and stuff, but they're kind of weird, right? But Generation X, it was like, man, I don't know if they're going to be able to survive in the real world because they're slackers. Generation X, right? And when you look at all of the music for Generation X, think about the music. So it was like Nirvana, and I was at the gym and I've created a Spotify list of music to listen to when I was in the gym. And I'm trying to add a bunch of different genres of stuff, like anything that anybody in my gym will enjoy listening to while we're working out. I put on that Spotify list. And I added a couple of songs that I can remember when I was much younger that were like hard rock songs and stuff. And they didn't really work very well in the gym because they're kind of depressing. like grunge metal is kind of depressing. like, this is my last resort. Like, come on, everything, or corn feeling like a freak on a leash. The whole song is basically like about how they feel like they're controlled and contained and that they can't do anything about it. It's like, it's depressing. It's like the whole Generation X culture was essentially expecting the future to suck balls. You know what I mean? The expectation of the future was just absolutely awful. And now compare that to what millennials do, right? Like, all the music is happy. Like we get this, like, kind of this half step electronica kind of stuff that they play on a lot of YouTube videos now. It's all kind of happy, and they've got, like, these super weird pitched up voices talking about how cool life is and how they love partying and stuff. Like, the millennial culture is actually, like, incredibly optimistic. And then when they come to reality, Generation X is like, well, we expected life to suck, but you know what? I was able to make something out of it, and I worked hard, and I'm happy about it. But the millennials, oh man, did my camera die here? I think it did. Hold on, let's check. Oh, it's still going there. It's on. I think I just need to reload it here. Deactivate and then activate. There we go. I don't know what happened. That was kind of weird. Anyways, Generation X, they expected to be, like, exploited and have to work hard. And millennials seem to think that we live in some sort of utopia. And then when they find out that, hey, you actually have to work to make a living, and you have to work hard, and it's extremely difficult to get ahead of other people, it's like, oh, this is awful. They hate it. I think it's expectations. I think maybe we gave millennials too high expectations of themselves. Isn't that what we were always saying, though? Wasn't the caution always like, oh, you better be careful with these self-esteem programs that you're giving all the kids these days, because you're going to give them an inflated sense of self-esteem, and that can actually lead to depression and stuff? I'm wondering if that's what's going on here. Well, I don't know about this action, guys. Like, it was a crap opening, and I see it ticking around, and I'm like, I really want to buy this. I really want to buy this 23 half. That looks like a great price to buy it, even though it's at the top of the range. But I know better. That's probably not a great place to buy it. Of course, now that I've said that, it's just going to skyrocket out of here. Okay, 23 half. Going back and forth. Ooh, which reminds me. There was an interesting post on r/trading. Talking about order flow that I thought was really interesting, but also wrong. Oh wow, a lot of people liked what I said. Let's just go and look at it. Yeah, nobody said anything. Well, I tell you what, if you haven't seen this link, he posted it on Futures.io, and then he cross-posted it to algo trading. So if you haven't seen it, I will put this here in the lobby here. Interesting post, even though I think he's wrong about a few critical things. So this guy he collected data, like order flow data, off of the E-mini in a unique way that basically allowed him to see how much it took to clear every time it cleared a price. And when you go through and you do the analysis, essentially what you find is that most prices are prices like this 23 half. Well, there's about 1,000 on there now. Well, a little bit ago there was like not even 500 on it, right? They'll put 500 offer on it, and then they'll trade through it, and then they'll put 500 bid on it, and then the sellers will come and sell back through it, and they'll offer 500, and it'll just go back and forth like that over and over and over again. And he was going out through the statistics and saying, like, your ability to get filled and hold a spot in action like that is like incredibly low. It was something like 30% of the time that you would be able to hold the spot and not get toxic order flow, which he defined as like it'll fill you, but it will go through you, and some orders will hit the next price. Which is, if it's one ticket, it's maybe not necessarily the worst thing in the world. In the E-mini, though, which I think he was doing primarily his analysis on, that would suck, right? And it was a very good analysis. It was just he kind of extrapolated it too far, because obviously that's like the majority of the action, and that's not what you're looking for, right? Those are spots that you want to stay out of. But that kind of seems to be where the market is right now, right? It's just kind of stuck around one price, moving back and forth. Well, that was a relatively aggressive take right there at 23 half. Maybe they're going to move up here now. Like, I still feel like buying it. I should be careful here because we did get a signal in the 5-year, and especially considering how slow it has been up until this point, there's a pretty good chance that this could flip. In fact, look at that 1935 stacking at 27.25. That will make me very uneasy. You never know. I mean, this could be an excellent buy. Oh, look, so he pulled it, and now they're going to hit back into it. I think that they're going to tick down now. No, they ticked up anyways. 27 half. They bought into it. Some pushback. So here's exactly what I'm talking about. So they're saying that most of the time, sellers will push right back into the new bid. It'll tick right back down almost immediately. And that's exactly what we're seeing. But I say, you stay out of those spaces. But it was an interesting article. And I thought that having that data in that form was something that you should read. Well,
Claudio Ibarola says hi.
hey Claudio, welcome back. How are you doing today? It's been a kind of a slow session, so it's kind of interesting. I mean, the market looks pretty thick, actually. That's another weird thing. Maybe the E-mini decides that they're going to sell off today, and then we get a move. But at the moment, it's just really, okay, like that's a really strong take there. Okay. And the E-mini died there. This is kind of the same spot that I took that winner from yesterday. It was kind of a similar move too. It's like dead, but then suddenly upticks that are unusually aggressive.
IQ says how come Uzi?
Ramp opening is just really slow. I mean, come on. Now, how much did we trade in the first 15 minutes? We only traded
Uzi Knesset says
2,200 contracts. We only traded like 2,200 contracts. Like, it's just really craptastic volume. And honestly,
Uzi
so
Knesset
far,
says yeah, it was just too slow for me.
honestly, so far, even though those ticks were really strong, okay, those upticks were really strong, and I think that we should heed that. But we're still just at the point of control for the session at 24, right? The E-mini is just kind of moving down and moving down and moving down. Perhaps the E-mini is a better trade here. But if it's moving because of the E-mini, there is going to be like the overnight low, but they might not be able to take that before the open.
Uzi Knesset says I like a nice decisive opening to get in on. Today not so much.
Yeah. Like I like it when an instrument opens and people immediately know what direction they want to take it.
IQ says well big overnight range.
Well, that is true. Big overnight range would be a good thing, right? In your take, IQ. Let's reset some of these levels, by the way, so we can see. And we are above the opening range still, so.
Uzi Knesset says so far bullish CB, but I'd be careful with it.
Yeah.
Greg Orlovsky says GMES 20 minutes ago came up and hit the exact low of yesterday's RTH, now falling back a bit, smiley face. RZH says $1 million question, grinning face with sweat.
That's a good point. That's a good point there, Greg. Okay, so did they just tick up there? Should reset this.
Greg Orlovsky says 3,112.75.
I can see some significant pulling on the offers above us. We're kind of like right on the edge, though.
Claudio Ibarola says comment, see just the bid depth, the price and the volume profile numbers is an excellent drill.
Mm-hmm. Well, it looks like they're going to tick back down. Yeah. Curious. So there was an ask at 25, 1,000 pulled, 26, 1,060.
Claudio Ibarola says ask depth.
Ask depth, right? Now maybe it's stacking back up, but these pulled. Okay, the E-mini is coming back a little bit. So I guess.
Uzi Knesset says today is FOMC day, no?
No. I think that we just get the
Popularity Matters says I feel rich. I made my first 3 ticks of the day.
Really? Good job. Popularity Matters. You did that yesterday too, didn't you? Yeah, so at noon today.
Michael XC says what did I miss?
Oh, why am I getting... Today is the 20th. Why was
Michael
I getting...
XC says just getting to the computer.
Oh, I misread what I... when I was... That's... Oh my gosh, alligator.
Uzi
I
Knesset says a
only...
tepid and chunky opening lol, very slow.
I only now realize, okay, I had this thing up and I refreshed it and it was showing me that building permits and housing starts was going to go. And so I was hitting refresh and waiting for it to come and not realizing that I was looking at Tuesday. So I thought that the housing starts was the news that we had today, but now I'm looking at, okay, FOMC meeting minutes at noon.
Michael XC says okay, guess I'll stay out. Was lucky and Chinese news hit when I was in ZB Euro morning.
It was lucky and Chinese news hit when
Michael
I was in
XC
CB.
says what is going to happen when we stop getting Chinese news?
That's a good question. Well, look, if when we're not getting Chinese news, that's good and we move up according to the market.
Michael XC says and Trump tweets about it.
And Trump tweets about it. But here's the thing, that's because that's what the trend was. If we ever turn around, if he ever has a significant swing and they start moving down, then it becomes the opposite thing. Then as they're moving down, it's if they don't say anything, it's bad news. Oh man. I'm telling you, I'm just too excited about the camera. I think I'm just so stoked that it worked. I tell you, here's the story about the camera. So, I've been filming my regular videos with this Canon T6i for a while now. It looks really great. And so I was like, well, we should try and turn it into a webcam. So I went and I found a cam link, and it was hard to find the price that I wanted, but I was able to get the
Uzi
price that I
Knesset
wanted.
says you so I'm in the comments of a story about how the FBI is seeking an interview with the whistleblower.
Are they
Uzi
really?
Knesset says someone just dropped his name, address, and 2 phone numbers for him lol.
No, really? You know what? Have you seen this stuff on the Donald about they're threatening to close the Donald down because they say that there is too much animus against the leaker?
Uzi Knesset says yeah.
That whole thing is just crazy to me because all I have seen is them posting his name and saying, you know what, it's out there. This is ridiculous that we can't talk about it. Which I agree with them. Like, obviously, we should be concerned
Uzi
about
Knesset
somebody
says
doing
his parents
something
and
rash.
sisters' names too.
Oh, okay, that's not cool. Listen, the whole doxing thing, I mean, this is kind of like borderline doxing, and I think that we should be really cautious and concerned that somebody that doesn't have their full mental faculties about them is going to go and do something stupid or crazy. That's a real concern. That's a real concern that I think that we should be aware of. Okay. But at the same time, the name is out there. We should be able to talk about it. This to me is like the 09F9 thing. If you're not familiar with 09F9, there was an encryption key that was used to encrypt DVDs, and somebody just happened to, through random chance, happened to pick the key and then put it out on the internet. And it was all over Reddit. Well, it wasn't Reddit at the time. It was Dig was the website. And so everybody was posting the key on Dig. And of course, Sony or whoever it was, I think it was Sony, was very upset about this and started issuing takedown notices and everything. So Dig started taking them down. And the community totally flipped their lid and just posted the key everywhere they could. And so there's like a song and everything to help people memorize this key. And it started 09, F9, 11, 16, something like that. And that was where Dig really took off, was because everybody heard about the 09 F9 thing and came in to take advantage of it. So now here we have like a similar situation on Reddit. It's like, look, the whistleblower's name is out there. I guess it's a little different because we have concerns about people's safety. We got to be concerned about people's safety. But we're also talking about like a significant point of US history. You think that this guy's name is going to remain a secret forever? It's not. Everybody knows who he is.
Michael XC says this whole doxing thing is annoying. Because of it, the sexy flight attendants Reddit won't post Instagram of those flight attendants.
Okay. Man. Yeah, but the thing that's really crazy about it is like Reddit said we are not going to punish people for posting the whistleblower's name. But then they're punishing
Popularity
that subreddit.
Matters says we should protect whistleblowers and legislators shouldn't be the one trying to dox.
Well, we should protect whistleblowers, but protecting whistleblowers does not necessarily mean that their identity won't be revealed. Okay? The victims, or not victims, but the accused have rights too.
Michael XC says, is this guy even a real whistleblower?
Yeah, and at this point, I kind of question
Michael
how
XC says, I have my
whistleblowery
doubts.
it really was.
Uzi Knesset says, yeah, they doxed him back on the 7th of November. Michael XC says, I thought Seth said Wednesday will be good?
Usually Wednesdays are good, Michael. I gotta tell you. Although, here's the caveat. It seems to me that the reason Wednesday is good is
Greg
because
Orlovsky
of the...
says 3 things that caught me off guard this week. 1. Trump meeting with Powell.
Okay, that
2.
was interesting.
Home Depot had a bad report.
Yeah.
3. I guess a Senate vote yesterday about Hong Kong. Overall, the trade has been slow.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, the Senate vote was interesting. I haven't looked at it yesterday, but I was surprised at how quickly they brought that through. The situation in Hong Kong, it sounds really bad right now. The police were saying that at the next protest, they're going to use live ammunition. I was like, are you kidding me, guys? When that happens, if things go down after that, anyways, what were we saying? Wednesdays. Okay, so the reason that Wednesdays tend to move is because there's kind of a buying cycle in equities, and it's like on Monday they decide
Uzi
that they want to make a move.
I think your camera died, lol.
Yeah, I think it died. I think so too. I don't think that it turned off. We'll deactivate it and activate it and see if it comes back.
Winstan's mom says, good morning. Seth, your face is frozen on my screen while your Chiron is scrolling. I have refreshed this page. Sorry to interrupt. Hit send too quick.
So I'm going to have to look into that. So after a while, my cam link stops updating and I have to refresh it. Okay. Anyways, so it's like on Monday, the big fund manager says, you know what? I want to buy this asset.
Equity cycle.
I want to buy AMD. And then on Tuesday, they have a big meeting about it. And they say,
there you are. Hello.
Okay, here's how we're going to carry out this operation. Here's how we're going to buy it and how many we need to get and all of these things. And then on Wednesday, they actually execute it. And so because of that, Wednesday tends to be like, it tends to move more. Now, that also affects treasuries. I mean, I have stats that say that treasuries tend to move more on Wednesdays. But if that is the reason why, that they might not move until the equity index is open, right? Now, I'm thinking though, maybe the equity indexes are gearing up to sell. This is the first time.
Michael XC says usually in the morning.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, you're going to see it right off of the open. This is the first time in a while in the E-mini that there's like a short setup. And when I say a short setup, I mean like they're going to open up lower. So if we go off of some of the edges that we've had where, depending on if we're above or below the extended session opening range, so this is going to be the first time in several weeks that we're going to open below the opening range in ES. So it could be a sell day. And if it is a sell day, then we might get some really good buys. But at the moment, the action doesn't look good. I really want to buy it.
Winstanzamom says I am off to watch the hearings. Happy trading, everyone.
Thank you. We'll catch you later. Oh yeah, by the way, we have the debate tonight, I believe, but I already missed the gym once this week, and I got a couple of other issues going on, so don't think that I'm going to live stream the debate this time. I think what we're going to do is I think I will make the jump now that we've got this camera, and it froze
Popularity
again.
Matters says it is in my town.
Oh, it's in your town. That's cool. Look, the picture froze again. We're going to have to look into this.
Popularity Matters says I wish I could go.
But I think that we'll make another channel for the political stuff.
Winstanzamom says frozen.
And then next time around, we can live stream that. I think that's what we're going to do. So what is with the camera? Why does it do this? Why does it do this? Activate. And it's fine. Okay. Cam link 4K freezes after a while. Help! Cam link freezes randomly. I've got the same problem from logs. Which USB controller are you using? Some USB controllers may have problems. If you have a poor controller or exceed USB bandwidth, there's an option. I had this problem and I used a hub. I found saying to open their capture problem, top right says cam link, hold control and click the gear next to the cam link. Go to advanced and then update firmware. For me, it failed the first time. Open their game capture program. Okay, let's try that. Let's try that. El Gato. Downloads. Game capture for Windows. And now they're hitting into 23.5 again. Well, if I was going to buy it, I think it would have to be at 23.5. It's interesting. This is the same setup as yesterday, isn't it? This is the one that I passed up on yesterday. I even think it's at the same price. Is this at the same price as it was? No. We were much lower yesterday. It was like at 129.08 half or something like that. Okay. Still, it's awfully familiar, isn't it? And look, there was an iceberg there too. This doesn't look like good action. We're gonna stay out. We're gonna wait until after the E-mini opens, and maybe we're just don't take anything. Computing space requirements. Next. Okay, so going back, what were we saying? We were talking about. Oh, we were talking about the whistleblower. So here's the thing. I do think it's a little questionable. You go in and you're basically trying to take down the president. Like if you have an agenda against him, and so you go and you file a report against him that is false or misconstrued, so that it will become a big deal in the media. And then you turn around and you say, I'm a whistleblower, so I should be protected. I don't think it works that way. Like, look, it appears to me that he did some stuff that was not legal. In fact, wasn't one of you guys saying that the FBI was looking into him? Would make sense to me. Just because he had a whistleblower doesn't mean that he's immune. You know?
Michael XC says kinda convenient how this whole fiasco appears after Russiagate sputtered and died.
Oh, totally. Totally. I mean, it really did seem to me like that this guy
Uzi Knesset says it's all such a mess.
had an axe to grind. Oh, that's interesting.
Popularity Matters says unfortunately for the anti-whistleblower crowd is that his story has mostly held up.
That's probably true. So, well, I wouldn't say mostly held up. Not that that's inaccurate, but I just think that it's tell the whole story, you know. I think that there were a lot of inaccuracies in his report, but
Uzi
the main
Knesset says
gist
no,
of
it
it
hasn't
was the main gist of it that Donald Trump was asking Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden was true. That one thing. Okay, now it's grayed out. That might be the camera though with the battery going. Okay, so where did they say? Okay, here he said, hold control and click the gear next to Camlink. Okay.
RZH says hahalal.
Go to advanced and then update firmware. You're up to date.
Uzi Knesset says purple power.
It failed for me the first time, so I had to try it again. Huh. Purple, right? So if I come in here and deactivate and activate, I'm still purple. No.
Popularity Matters says the Biden angle is the most important thing, and Trump seems guilty of what he is accused of doing.
So it depends on what you're saying he's accused of doing, right? I mean, the thing is if the accusation is he asked Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden, yeah, he did. He did. If the accusation is that he extorted them, it doesn't seem to me that the testimony so far has really
says I think the biggest issue with
up.
this impeachment crap is that everyone is guilty of the same shit. Lol.
Yeah. So they're saying they felt no pressure, you know, all of this other stuff. So I really don't feel like there really was pressure. But then the other thing is that the president does have the purview, I guess, to pressure countries into doing things, right? Like that's why foreign aid exists, guys. Right? The whole reason that there's even a thing with, that foreign aid is a thing so that we can say, hey, do this thing and we'll give you foreign aid. Like the whole quid pro quo thing is why foreign aid exists, right? So
Popularity Matters says investigate, make a public statement about it, held it over Ukraine's head. We do expect Ukraine to say no pressure,
of course they're not
because they
going to say
don't
no
want
pressure,
Trump
sure.
as their enemy or to look weak.
Yeah, of course they're going to say no pressure. Yeah, you're totally right. I mean, that's kind of that was one of the things I thought was funny about it. Like, when this first showed up, that was my first thought was, well, Ukraine isn't gonna back up what the accusation is. Ukraine is going to say everything was fine. Because of course they are. They don't want to piss off the current administration.
Uzi Knesset says the previous administration was using Ukraine and so is the current one. Tried person shrugging.
Yeah. Like that's the whole thing. Is as far as I can tell, there's nothing actually illegal or even unprecedented about this. I think that every president has been in a situation where he said, hey, country X, do Y thing, or you're not going to get your foreign aid. They've all done that. They've all done that. And
Popularity Matters says pressure to investigate a political rival isn't the nature of acceptable pressure.
and I would not, and I would say it's probably also quite a common thing to say, hey, do this thing that would be kind of useful towards my reelection chances, or you're not going to get foreign aid. I guarantee you that happened. I guarantee you Obama has done that. No question about it.
Michael
And you would
XC
never hear
says,
about it.
Popularity Matters says that is the entire argument.
That you would
Michael
never
XC
hear about
says,
it.
So Biden's son is not in hot water.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, Michael. Like, listen, I guarantee you that at some point in Obama's presidency, even though we've never heard about it, that he said, hey, there's this thing that would be really useful towards my reelection chances, and you need to do that thing before you can get your foreign aid. No question that sort of a thing has happened. Now, to say, I want you to investigate my political rival and make up some charges out of nowhere, because I think that it will hurt my political rival, and that's the only reason that I want you to do it. And you have to do that before you can get your foreign aid. That is certainly, in my opinion, corruption, right? That certainly seems like corruption to me, okay? But number one, you're never going to be able to prove that sort of a thing because you are assuming a state of mind, okay? And hear what Michael's saying here.
Michael XC says, did anything come of the DNC scandals?
Oh, not that one.
Popularity Matters says Biden's son's position is unacceptable.
Ding, ding, ding. Listen, all of these rich people had their sons and daughters working for Ukrainian gas companies, okay? I don't think that necessarily reflects poorly on those candidates because, like, hey, if somebody's going to give me money, then let them give me money, and it's not really my problem why they want to give it to me, okay? I totally get that, but the gas company was doing something shady, and they should be investigated. No question about it. No question about it that they should be investigated, and that investigation got shut down is extremely concerning. And I think that investigation should be reopened. And I think that Donald Trump, the president, has every reason, and it is completely within his right to pressure Ukraine to reopen that investigation. He has that power. Like, that's the thing, guys, is you can't come in and say, well, Donald Trump can never do anything with his office that could ever possibly help him in an election. Bullshit. Every president does things with their office that helps them in the next election, guys. It's called the incumbent advantage. They all do it. It's just a part of the game. Maybe it shouldn't be, but it's kind of unavoidable. It's kind of unavoidable. Okay? But that's just how it works. And the problem that I see with this whole situation is, what if they take him out? What if they say, oh, what Donald Trump did, asking Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden, was a heinous crime. And from now on and forever, this is something that we have to be very cautious about and be looking for. And if another president tries to do it, we're going to impeach them too. Okay? That does significant damage to the president's ability to do their job. All right? The president has a lot of power, and yeah, it is a lot of power, and yeah, it can be misused, and it has been misused. We know that Nixon misused it. We know that Nixon misused some of his power before he became president, but that is necessary for them to be able to interact with foreign policy powers and to get the things done that need to get done. And if they actually impeach him, which they won't, but if they were actually able to impeach him, I think that it would do significant damage to foreign policy. That's where I kind of come in from. It's like,
Uzi Knesset says everyone's hands were in the cookie jar and going after Trump just turned the lights on in the kitchen lol.
Right. Well, like, that's the thing. This is another thing that always drives me nuts in politics. So I'll give you another. Well, yeah, let's go into this, and then I'll read these other ones. So here in Utah, one of the things that we have is there's a limit on political campaign donations. And one of the problems that you have is, say you ran for mayor and you collected, $20,000 in donations or something like that, okay? And then you won and you did that and you just kind of stuck it in the campaign funds and it's still sitting there. And now you decide that you're going to run for Senate. Well, you would want to use those funds that you collected when you were mayor for your new Senate race, right? Well, guess what? You're not allowed to do that. If you do that, you have to pay a tax because it's too big of a contribution. Your old campaign can't contribute to your new campaign. It's kind of silly, but that's the way that the law is. So what do? Well, the old campaign is allowed to donate that money to a bunch of different people. So you go in and you donate that money to, like $5,000 to like 20 people or whatever it is. And then all of those people then turn around and donate that money to your new campaign. Okay? This happens in Utah all the time. Sounds kind of shady, right? But it is completely legal. Like if they took you to court over it, nothing would happen because it's totally legal. It's totally legal, but it's kind of shady. So if you are running for an office and you want to, create some uncertainty about your opponent, one of the things that you can do is say, hey, they've been doing this thing, this money laundering thing where they donated to a bunch of people and then had those people donate to their new campaign. And, you put that accusation out there into the press. I've seen this happen like 2 or 3 times in Utah politics. It's like, guess what? Everybody does it. They all do it because it's the only way to get that money between the campaigns. But regular voters don't know any better, so they hear it and it's like, oh, this is bad. This is an awful thing. This is an awful thing.
Popularity Matters says then add in the Giuliani shadow diplomacy. Of course Trump was scamming. Popularity Matters says unlike most of you, I'm okay with either party going to jail and being flushed away.
Okay, sure.
Uzi Knesset says that's a charitable assumption. Popularity Matters says that isn't the only thing he did it directly to hurt a rival.
Can't prove that.
Popularity Matters says the problem with your argument is that Trump got caught. Popularity Matters says you do not need to ask for investigations against U.S. politicians to get your foreign policy goals achieved. Uzi Knesset says you might if you're investigating corruption. To say that Biden and his son's involvement with Ukraine is exempt from corruption probes is to say Trump is exempt from the same thing.
Yeah.
Uzi Knesset says the issue is how the voters perceive it. One side will say Trump was investigating corruption and the other will say he was trying to take down a rival. Both things can be true at once. Popularity Matters says that ISN, the argument Uzi. The argument is that Trump only went this angle to get a political advantage over a rival. Uzi Knesset says that's how you perceive it. Because you're on the other side. Person shrugging.
Sure. Well, but that's the thing is, from a legal standpoint, you can't prove that. It is essentially it's essentially engaging in mind reading, right? We don't know what Donald Trump's motivation was in doing this. The only way that you would be able to prove that is if you could find somebody that would testify that, hey, I had a private conversation with Donald Trump. And in this private conversation, he said, I asked Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden, and I'm holding foreign aid hostage in order to get them to investigate Joe Biden. And really the only reason why I want them to do it is because I don't want Joe Biden to be the Democrat nominee. Do you think that they're going to get somebody that's able to testify to that? Because unless you can do that, you can't prove that. You know what I mean? So it's mind reading.
Popularity Matters says I'm on the side of what has happened. Uzi Knesset says we both are, and we're both interpreting it differently.
No. I'm on the short side, are you guys?
Lucas says I am on the short side, are you guys?
So question, Lucas. And by the way, good morning, yes. What made you go short? Because when I was up in there, I was like, I really want to buy this, but this looks like bad action, and so I stayed away from it. So what did you see to get you to go short? Because that looks like an awesome trade. Just to buy us, huh? Interesting. Well, it makes sense. I mean, my bias is still buy. Unless we start getting into that 20. I mean, this is kind of one of those setups that Uzi has shown us a few times that has worked really well. Is there will be some sort of a test of the opening range high, but then if they're able to hold it, then they can move up, and it's a great move. Okay, so my camera, through all of this, after doing all that stuff, the camera has not frozen again. I think that it could be the USB. I think that if it freezes again, although it's been an hour, so the camera is probably getting to the point where camera's probably getting to the point where they're gonna need to. It's gonna die.
Lucas says I wanted to short higher at 24 but started messing around with Fusion 360 and missed the down move. Michael XC says good job Lucas. Uzi Knesset says 04 is the RTH open on ZB. I didn't get a good signal at the gate, so I'm sidelined in this action.
It's 04 was the RTH open. Well, we're not to the opening range high in ZB.
Popularity Matters says I quit treasuries for good.
This is, I think with treasuries more so than with almost any other instrument, you've got to know when to not trade it. And this kind of action is exactly where I think Popularity Matters does it well,
Lucas says, what do you trade?
So if we get another freeze, we'll move the USB. Move it to a different USB port.
Popularity Matters says Popularity Matters says I'm moving over to CL. Popularity Matters says I trade ZB quite well, but it is a waste. I can make more ticks elsewhere.
Really?
Lucas says, oh, you changed the Wi-Fi for the supermodel.
That's exactly
Popularity
what's
Matters
happening,
says I was
man.
mostly trading S per zettabyte,
He's dating Courtney Love, guys. That's what he's
Uzi
doing.
Knesset says if you're looking at CB, peep the first tick at the 9:30 open. Go from there. You can still get a few ticks on a drive from the equity open. Popularity Matters says gotta date the supermodel when you can.
You say that, but then she slashes your tires and you'll be like, why did I do this? You know what? I think Popularity Matters. You're probably a lot better at trading it than I am. Just from some of the moves that you've shown
Popularity Matters
us.
says CL is Kendall Jenner.
Michael
XC says just be aware that during the week of the Iran stuff, CL dropped almost $1 basically instantly in front of my eyes.
Oh yeah.
Uzi Knesset says then use that print as a reference point. Popularity Matters says she will be dating another ball player and dump me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that Popularity Matters is probably a lot better at trading it than I am. But man, oil hurt me. You want to know where oil touched me? Right here, guys. Broke my heart. What's going on here in Discord? Not expecting new highs though.
Uzi Knesset says CL broke your heart.
Yep. Yen's got a nice high, but when that breaks, it should give bonds an excellent.
Michael XC says I was only good at CL if I scaled in.
There's a lot of space lower. Probably need that to push lower, but
Michael XC says I couldn't figure out how to trade it with just one contract. Popularity Matters says as long as she leaves me with enough food for Taco Bell and coffee, I'm okay.
Man, I would not. Hey, ladies, this guy, you can totally take advantage. Anything you want, as long as you leave him with enough food for Taco Bell and coffee.
Uzi Knesset says, ooh, coffee is a good idea.
That might be a good idea. I'm weirded out that we had all of those problems with the camera freezing, and now it's perfectly fine. Isn't that so weird? And another thing, the camera is still going. So when I was testing it yesterday, I think that it was about an hour and then it died on me. It was like enough time for me to like actually get it set up nice. And then it died, but it's still going. And maybe it's because I was using the screen. I think that when you use the little screen on the camera, that really kills the battery. Well, it's pretty low. I honestly, I still want to buy it, but here's the thing. So when we talk about opening range high, like Uzi would maybe be buying it if they went into 22 and it showed that it wasn't going to push further and they started pushing back up, then maybe you take that one long, right? The 30-year is not even close to it, but the 10-year is. The 10-year is right on the edge of that 20. And so is the 5-year. Now, the 30-year has kind of been the outlier lately, although it's kind of, I don't know.
Uzi
Knob
Knesset
spread
says
is
yeah.
going down. Knob spread is going down. Yeah, Uzi confirming that that's how he would have played it. So the knob spread is going down, so that's why it's so off kilter from the other two. Man, I don't know. So I'm sitting here looking at it and I'm seeing some distribution and I'm thinking, well, if you could buy 20 half, that would be great. But it's like a minute before the E-mini open. We don't know what the E-mini is going to do.
Lucas says at UZI, are you done?
We could maybe do something like, stick one of these up in here just in case something crazy
Ace Trade
happens.
says morning.
Hey, Ace, you're a little late. How's it going? I think today is a little bit more, so I think what's happening is because we have FOMC
Lucas
minutes later
says hi,
today,
Ace.
because we have FOMC minutes later today, the market is being really slow.
Ace Trade says at Lucas morning. Uzi Knesset says yeah, I'm still playing my opening strat and the open sucked donkey nuts today so I didn't trade it.
Gotcha. So it's slow, but the setup short in ES looks better than it's looked in quite some time. But the treasuries tick down. E-mini first impulse is a buy. Well,
Lucas says oh yes, I think it moved one ticket open and stayed there today lol. Popularity Matters says I missed out on a good trade. I'm only going to stay in front of the screen until 10:30.
well, that move down was really good, but I did not see anything to suggest that that's what I was going to do. We did get a spike down here at 20. So there's going to probably be some distribution around here. But also when we get a spike in overextension like that, that seems to suggest that the direction is down today. It's just, they're really killing it. Maybe they're trying to make it to the previous day's point of control, although that seems really far away. I guess it's not that far away. 14, 15, they could do it. They would basically have to get to the low of the day, though. Let's reset the DOM so that we can see that. There it is. Another thing is that
Lucas says where's that POC?
It is specifically 129.14. So it is the low of the day. So yesterday's point of control ended up being today's low.
Lucas says okie.
Yeah. It's really curious, isn't it? But here we can see buying in the E-mini. Treasury's sold off pretty hard. But if it's just going to be the E-mini, that's always a tough trade, you know? If we were going to take a trade like that, I think that it would make much more sense to try shorting the E-mini at like 31.14 or wherever Ace might see a signal instead of trying to buy the treasuries. Then at least you get kind of some of the noise. Yeah, I'm just I'm watching myself in the screen here. And the latency on the camera is really good, but it still kind of doesn't look right. I think that what I can do, if I come into sources here, I can change the de-interlacing, and I could do like this right here.
Michael XC says, do you have an indicator on each chart in Ninja to spit out the levels? Or is it just one indicator that spits it out for all the instruments?
I put it on every instrument. So my video that is what is the best futures trading software platform, I link it. Or you can go into Discord.
Lucas says, is that an HD cam? You changed it, right? Color looks different.
Yeah. So what I did is I took my Canon T6i and I got a cam link for it, and I'm using that as my webcam now.
Michael XC says, cool.
Yeah. If you have any problem getting it to work, Michael, just like message me on Discord and I'll try and help you. But you find it in the downloads channel on Discord, and then you add it to the chart. And then when the chart loads, it will export the levels, and then you go and find those CSV files in Jigsaw. Anyways, so one of the things that's weird with the camera is that it's like an interlaced signal, so you have to de-interlace it. Otherwise, look here, I'll show you what happens if you don't interlace it. So if you don't do it, then look, when I move, it's like you get these weird scan lines. So then you do de-interlacing, and there's a lot of different options. It looks to me like no matter what I do, it's always a little bit delayed, though. By like 10 seconds. We'll watch it on replay and see how far off the camera is from my voice to decide if it really bothers me or not, I guess. But yeah, we're using the cam here. I'll show you the here. It looks really good. It is darker. I could maybe change the ISO on it. So I don't think I want to trade this for a bit. So let's try it, huh? So if I come here and I push the info button, it'll show me that, and then I can do ISO, and we could move to a slightly higher. Oops, oh, it took too long. So there's slightly brighter. To me, it's too bright. I think that's too bright. Now I could come into the video settings and properties. I mean, it definitely like has me lit up. It actually probably is more accurate, but if we come in here, I could just bring the brightness down, for instance. That's a little too contrasty, actually.
Ace Trade says possible short setting up at 3,114.25.
Okay. Possible. I think I should let it go out. So that way, it looks a little more contrasty, I guess.
Ace Trade says, but the overall energy is up, so I'm looking for a long.
Also, you're getting a little bit more graininess. So go back to the default and change it back again. like that. And I think that looks great. So yeah. But then the other thing is we're waiting for the camera to die because I don't have the AC adapter for it yet. There's no way that it's going to last the full 2 hours. I think that sometime around 7:45 it's going to die. And when it dies, it should go like...
Michael XC
black.
says, man, this Start G is pretty cool for adjusting audio.
Start G? What is that? Never heard of that before. Start G. Quote marks, maybe.
Michael XC says game mode. Michael XC says Win 10.
I was told that with the latest Windows update that turning game mode back on is actually a good thing. It used to be that game mode was like worse, but now apparently it's fixed. Just read the rest of this thread about the cam link. It does look like the freezing of the screen is related to the USB. So if we just move it to a different, like, I think I have a completely different controller for the front. And so I could just move it to the front one, even though it probably will look awful. Also, before I forget, if you haven't already, like this video. It really helps out a lot. Helps grow the community. Like the video. If you're watching on replay, and I know I'm really surprised, but like almost 4 times as many people watch it on replay as watch it live. But if you're watching it on video, go ahead, scroll down and leave a comment about how you did today or what you thought of today's action. I would love to hear from you. I like to keep track of what you guys are doing, right? And then in the video description, I have some links for Facebook. So I have my Facebook page and then a group that we created for order flow and a group that we created for treasuries. So go ahead and join those groups. Then we can have more interaction when we're not on stream, you know. There's not really very good groups for this particular stuff. Like Ace Trades can testify to the fact that you go into like the E-mini groups, there's a lot of people that are just clueless. So I think that we can do a little better with the groups. So we started our own Facebook group. So check those out. I'm not really a fan of the short, but it looks like it's going to do it. I wanted to short R2, but nervous with ES open. I've been told hope is not a strategy.
IQ says when you got time, can you zip the range indicator? Thanks.
The range. Oh, IQ. Thank you for
IQ
reminding me
says
that. Totally. We'll totally do that. In fact, I'm going to make you the other one. Let's make you the other one. Ninja script editor. Indicators. Okay, so I have one called average true range tick. And then there's also one range. Here's range. This is just value equals. Okay. So we're going to make a new indicator here for you. All right. So I'll give you both of them. We're going to make a new indicator, and it's going to be a new indicator. Next. Range tick. Next. Don't need any of those. Yeah, it should be on bar close. And No, I don't think that we need any of that. No, I think that we can just click generate. Okay, yes, that's right. Range. Okay, so this equals range of 0 divided by tick size. Value of 0 equals. I think that should work. Let's create a new chart to test it with. New chart. We'll do ZN. And 30 minutes, sure. No tick replay on it. Good. Okay. And get rid of all of these indicators that I have on it by default. Okay. Good. And then we'll add here both of the range and, oh, did I not? Okay, hold on. Coming back over here, range tick. Oh, I didn't compile it, that's why. I did not hear the sound. Oh. Range takes in a number. What does it take in? No, it does not. Do I need to do range of primary series or something like that? Something like, if I do that, does it give me a different error? Oh, okay, cool. Cool. Indicators. So now I will add here range and range tick. Okay. So it's not working at all.
Ace Trade says long 3115.00.
I didn't even add
Michael XC says, is it possible to make a jigsaw strategy scale in?
Could you be a little bit more specific? Do we need? No, I don't think that we do. Okay.
Michael XC says not enter with full volume.
Well, so if I didn't want to enter in with the full volume, what I would just do is I would just say I want to have 3 orders. I would just say, okay, put one here and one here and one here. And then you can set the strategy up. I can show you here in a second, but you can set the strategy up to treat each order differently in terms of where the exits are going to be. Get rid of that. Okay. Why? Aha. Okay, cool. So you can see they're exactly the same, but the number of ticks shows you exactly the number of ticks instead of this weird number. Okay? Cool. So now I'm going to come in here. By the way, just to show you IQ, here's where I put them. All right? If I just gave you the files, okay? Documents, NinjaTrader 8, bin, custom, indicators.
Michael XC says, is that low battery on the headphones?
That is low battery on the camera, so the camera's going to die here in a bit.
Michael XC says, or camera?
Yeah, the camera's going to die here in a bit. I have an AC adapter coming on the way, but I don't think it's going to get here till tomorrow. So we can just switch over. When it dies, we'll switch over. Tell me when it dies.
IQ says, thanks, Seth.
Yeah. Anyways, that's where you would put it, okay? But we can also come in here and we can do export NinjaScript add-on. And I will add indicator ATR tick and range tick and export them to, call it range tick. This will go bin custom export NinjaScript. Save. Then it wants to include these default ones, which is fine. Okay, so now it's there. Now we can come over to downloads. Custom export NinjaScript. Range tick. Upload. Copy link. Now we'll come over here into YouTube. And there's the link for you, IQ. So
Speculator Seth says.
Yeah. So then you come in here to control and you do tools, import, NinjaScript add-on. And then it will ask you, a few questions. You click yes, and then it'll be good. And that's how it works. Totally forgot about that. Well, the camera is making it a lot longer than I thought. Almost 90 minutes. It did kind of turn around a little bit at 20. So I suspected it might. But given that the E-mini was up and is kind of going sideways and it's 750, does a trade long here really make a lot of sense? I'm not sure it does. I find it really interesting how when we have a slow day in the market, that we tend to have a slow day on the stream too. It's like I would think that there would still be 22 people coming in looking to make trades today, but very clearly that's not what happened. A bunch of people decided to sleep in with us on us today. Was it ever? Actually, we did get up to a certain point. We did get up to 20 at one point. But I think a couple people turned out when we started doing some programming there. Well, I mean, that stack at 20.5 looks bullish to me. It's a little... I think that we should be suspicious about something that looks that clear-cut, though. Given the kind of day it's been. Like, they might just push down another leg lower. Maybe their trading CL Wednesdays can be fun on CL.
Michael XC says maybe they're trading CL Wednesdays can be fun on CL. I don't have a chart up.
So I'm having a problem here because CL opens at the same time as the E-mini, right? But I don't see any I'm not getting any data for it yet. I'm not getting any bars for it. I wonder if I go here, do I have anything? Oh, are they trading on the December expiry now? Or sorry, on the January expiry now? Yes, they are. Oh, so now I can see that they really moved up. Almost a whole dollar. Almost a whole dollar.
Michael XC says NACL opens a bit earlier, but I forget when the report is on Wednesdays.
The report is at 10:30 Eastern time. Oh man, did you hear my back crack there? Ew. Ew. So now we're back at 22.
Ace Trade says going to take my point and be happy. Now out.
Good job. Okay, well, I said it was bullish, but we should be careful, but it did move up. The E-mini, are you sure? So where did you take it from? Oh, you took long 31.15. If there's another what signal, I might take it short. Now that they've done that, here's the thing. They've tested that overnight high a couple of times and have failed. Okay, where was that one? Some asks pulling, in fact. Stacking and pulling. 22.5. See, to me, in this moment, I really want to buy it. Like, I can just see there, oh, I want to buy 22.5. The 23 is pulling now, and I might have to hit into 23 if I was going to catch that. Well, maybe, there's the 24 there, so maybe 23 isn't so bad. But then I remember, okay, they pushed lower. If there was a
Popularity Matters
pullback,
says I think I'm going to quit until the report. I'm up 17 on the day. CL +9, S +8.
yeah, that's not bad. But then if there was going to be a resistance, where would it be? It would be like literally right here. And what are we seeing right here? It looks way incredibly bullish. So that's not right. I think that I should be hands off unless we see a short in the E-mini pop up. I think we should come up with some cool pictures and stuff for our Facebook groups. I'm gonna think about that today. Well, there is an iceberg at 22.5. Somebody's buying it, but I'm getting an overextension in the 5-year. Who's all these people selling it? if the market order is hitting into 22.5 concerns me. If that wasn't the case, then maybe I would be more inclined to take a short, given the signal that I'm getting in the 5-year. That makes much more sense to me than, the other stuff we got going on. Well, iceberg on both sides of this now. So some distribution in this area.
RZH says ZN is going back to the same place it was. Michael XC says know anyone who trades with volume stops?
Well, I trade with the volume stop. Right? Like that trade yesterday, I entered that trade yesterday on a volume stop. Okay, they ticked up strong bid. Quite a bit of flow went into 23.5.
Michael XC says when should I think about getting out of ZB? I'm only in since 06.
Well, there was one potential exit signal, and it turned into a breakout. So assuming that I had bought it in there somewhere, I would be looking here for some more serious distribution. Okay, so 23.5, they kind of took a little step back at least. So that tells me it's not necessarily game on yet. Alligator says yes, break prep. What I'm seeing in the E-mini at the moment looks like a Head and Shoulders.
Michael XC says if I got out now it would be the best day this week.
Yeah, well, one thing I would say is you should always have an idea based on your own stats and the stats of the instrument about how far it's going to go. So I can tell you, if you caught 8 ticks in
Michael
ZB,
XC says crap waited too long, got +2 on this trade.
oh, okay, so you took it more like 06. Well, if you got like +8 on a trade, then you always got to think about taking it off.
Uzi Knesset says first print in ZB on the equity open was 59.31. Pretty solid absorption signal.
Interesting. That 1,000 down there? Well, they're coming back fast.
Michael XC says I was +9 going into the trade.
Oh, yeah, ouch. Yeah, so if you get 8, I would be on the lookout for order flow signals that suggest that you need to get out. Okay. Doesn't mean that you have to get out exactly at 8.
Uzi Knesset says good for 9 to 10 ticks.
Yeah. But, it comes up here and then I see ZN does a strong down tick, or there's a big iceberg, or they tick up and the bid is stronger than it should be, any of that kind of stuff, and I've got 8, then I'd get out. This could be a buy here, though. That 22 is still pretty thick. I don't know. Kind of interesting. There's been a couple of prices that are completely pulled on the offer. Man, our camera is still going 90 minutes later. I think the cam link has really good latency, but the camera itself does not. So if I get a new camera, that latency will be one of the big things that I should look at. So the question is, should I delay the microphone a little bit so that they sync up? And see how much it bothers me later. Okay, they're hitting into 22.5 again. There's an iceberg there, and there's a real...
Michael XC
really
says, I like how
stacking.
Android phones can show your Bluetooth set battery status in the icons area.
Right? It'll actually show you a histogram
Air Cages
of
says
the video.
hello.
Hey, Air Cages. Oh, by the way, I haven't looked at the Bitcoin here in a few.
Air Cages says, what did I miss?
Not a whole lot. The market is being finicky. I think I'm feeling a little bit of FOMO here because this whole time I've really wanted to take a trade, and I would have preferred a long, and I saw a long at around 129.20, but we didn't take it. And, that one would have worked out really well. But it's this whole time, it's still been in a situation where I don't think that I have a very good probability of predicting which way it's going to go. So I think it's probably better for me to stay out, even though on that one I would have been right. See, like there, they took 22.5. That's a lot. That's a lot of orders.
Michael
trying to hold
XC
that.
says, I still suck at CF. Know anyone who specializes in it?
Not really, Michael. Almost everybody just ends up going to ZN. I mean, so if I was trading one of these other instruments, I would be looking at the things that I talk about in the 10-year here. Okay, is the 10-year distributing or trending, and is there some indication about what direction it's going to go? And then over here in the 5-year, I would be trying to fine tune, watching the range here to figure out which price is the right price to take, because that's the tricky part of the 5-year, right? Is say that we think that it's still a buy. Right now you could buy 26.5, but I've found that they have a tendency to
Popularity Matters
not
says
stop
most
where I
ignore
think.
ZF because of the tick value.
Yeah, and the tick to commission ratio is just not very good in ZF. I wouldn't mind if they made a change to that instrument, but I mean, there's a decent amount of liquidity on it, so maybe they're doing okay with it and they're unlikely to change it. But I think that they should all have as good of a...
Ekareo says, don't you find the ZN boring though? That thing takes forever to move?
Well, no, because...
Michael XC says, yeah, but ZF can have really low margins with some brokers.
Oh, okay. I say no, because it doesn't have to move to be exciting, right? Just the little game that they play here with how the level 2 changes can be exciting and fun. right? Now, sometimes they get slow. They appear to be really stuck here at 22.5. That's not fun, but sometimes you might not see any price movement, but if you're watching
Legacy
the DOM, there's
says
lots
battery
going
low.
on. Yep, it is battery low. So if you're just tuning in, we got a new camera, and I got a cam link. Well, the camera's old, but we've been recording the other videos with it. But we got a cam link to plug it into the computer.
I prefer ZB and UB over ZN.
And I don't have the AC adapter
Michael
for it
XC
yet.
says compared to watching paint dry, ZN is exciting.
It's in the mail, an AC adapter is in the mail. So for today, we are just running it off of the battery, and at some point, it is going to die here. But so far, it's made it almost 100 minutes. So that's impressive. That's quite impressive, Canon. But at some point, it's going to die. So when it dies, let me know, and then we can switch to the regular webcam, because we still have that connected up. I'm wondering, maybe I should do something with the webcam.
Air Cages says ZB is way more exciting.
It is. I mean, listen, guys. Let me take this. Let me take this from a different perspective here. Okay? How exciting an instrument doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is your ability to make money with that instrument. And my experience has been that it is a lot easier for me to pick a spot and make money in the 10-year than it is in the 30-year. There's some really great profit-making opportunity.
Ekareo says as FOMC meeting minutes, the reason the Amini is looking like the ZN?
I think so, Ekareo. I think so. Because normally Wednesday would be moving. But right now, this thing looks like it is range bound to the max. There, it just died. I heard it. That's funny. That's funny. Okay. Now you get the crappy webcam again. I'm sorry. Oh, man. I'm looking at it now, and I'm like, oh, the other one was so much better. I could see the expression on I could see the color in my eye, and it was fun. And now we just got this little tiny little window in the corner again. And a blank chat window. A blank chat window that doesn't show chat. I wonder what the deal is with that. So let's look into that. Let's see here. It was a stream elements, right? I think that's how we were doing it.
Michael XC says yeah, but now you really look like Instagram muscle boy.
Instagram muscle boy. Well, is it like too pale? I don't remember if it was Stream Elements or there was another one called like Stream.
Air Cages says Seth has a point.
Else.
The chart could have a 2-tick range as long as you can make money trading it.
Yeah.
Michael XC says the guy from yesterday.
Oh, right. I look more like him now, huh? That's funny. That's funny. Alerts and overlays. Okay, so it is not Stream Elements, it's Stream Labs. Stream Labs, that's right. We might need to get into the Stream Elements thing at some point in the future. But it's kind of weird to me to watch other streams, because other streams are like almost completely centered around like subscriptions. And on YouTube we don't get that. Like you people can subscribe, but you have to have like 30,000 viewers. So
Popularity Matters says with ZB and UB I can pick my spots a lot better and get filled. With ZN I'm waiting 20 minutes just to get filled, then the market goes and I'm not in. I like tight ranges, though.
Well, yeah, that's interesting. Popularity Matters. Let me think about that for a second. Anyways, so tell everybody to like the videos, comment on the videos, and most importantly, subscribe so that we can get to 30,000 viewers, and then we can create membership options, and then you would have like special smileys, and we could give you all sorts of membership benefits. It would be cool. Somebody came in on the Equity Index's channel and says, "What game are you guys playing?" And he said, "EVE Online." We're trading. So after thinking about it for a second here, popularity matters. I would be interested to see what you think about this article that I put in the lobby on Discord. Now, there are some problems with this this write-up that this guy made, and I point out the issues that I have with it in the Reddit thread. I left a comment about it. But basically what he did was he recorded some data in the E-mini. I think he did it for a couple of instruments, but I think it's primarily the E-mini. And he was looking at, okay, how often is it that they're going to tick completely through you versus you're going to get filled and then have no adverse ticks. And the whole thing was essentially that most of the time they will, like here in the 30-year, there'll be 151. They'll trade 151 and tick up and then bid 151, and then the seller will hit back and then sell 151 and offer 151. And it'll go back and forth like that, back and forth. And so your chances of being able to get a spot where it's going to hold is extremely low, extremely low. And he extended that to say that it's like just not possible for a retail trader to make money with order flow, which is completely ridiculous, as I'm sure you know. But it kind of comes into that thing in ZB where it's like, okay, so how often is it going to be if I wanted to buy 04 and they filled me, and then that's as far as it goes? Because when I did ZB, the problem that I always had is that then they'd always trade 3 or 2, or they'd go to 0, and then it was like, then they would turn around. So I would get stopped out, and then they would turn around. And it was just too hard for me to trade with a really tight stop, because you couldn't pick where you were in the range. Whereas in the 10-year, I can very often pick the pivot to the tick. And so that's where I had a problem with ZB. With ZB. Now in ZN, I would say if you're sitting and waiting forever and ever to get a fill, you might not be trading in the right spot.
Air Cages says if retail trading was legit, top stirp trader couldn't exist.
Well, I don't know about that, Air Cages. Here's the thing. Yes, dear. Oh, Everett left his homework. Nice shirt. Too bad we didn't have the camera's is already dead, and we could have all seen the lovely shirt. Oh, by the way, I didn't turn it off. Yeah, she's like, I don't have any makeup on.
Popularity Matters says I got used to it trading through me by 2 ticks, but with the right location your expectancy is high, so taking that 2 ticks of heat isn't so bad.
Okay. So I would like to know, maybe here's not the best place, but I would like to know about how you pick your spot, because I could never get 2 ticks, man. It was always 4 to 6. It sucked. Anyways, I haven't tried it in a while. I might be better at it. So Air Cages, here's the thing. I'm a little unsure if Top Step is going to be able to continue, because the main reason that Top Step Trader existed was that people wanted to trade futures, but they didn't have a large enough account to do it. Now that they have micro futures, you can put $500 in and you can learn that way. And I think it's a much different game. And the thing is that the expectations that they put on you in Top Step Trader, the amount that they were expecting you to make was way too much. Like, honestly, if you catch that every month, you are amazing. I just don't think that it's realistic. But you can trade and come out break even every month for sure. And so I'm hoping that we'll be able to get more successful retail traders now that we have micro futures. because it is possible to be successful in retail trading. The thing is, it's counterintuitive. You're not just going to step in and if this is your first time trading and have a successful
Popularity
year.
Matters says TST is smart enough to make it a culture, so guys sign up month after month. Fail after fail.
That might be true. I don't know. When I was doing it, I was never able to really. One of the things that bothered me was that, there's all these other people taking it, but I didn't really feel like that I got a lot of interaction with them. And it was like quite a bit of interesting volume that went through there at 27 in the 5-year. We're still stuck at 23 though. I still don't know which way it's gonna go. E-mini broke through that head and shoulders pattern, but now they're shoving back down again, and it still looks bearish to me. And the treasuries are still acting bullish. I think that it's too late for me to try and take a trade because knowing the way this often goes, you get in a trade now and it won't go for 40 minutes, but maybe 23 would be okay.
Air Cages says I never saw a successful TST trader. The people I followed all failed or shown marginal success.
Yeah, well, you know what, Air Cages, I had a couple of people come and show me that they got funded. I can actually, we could probably, I'm sure that there are people listening right now that could come in and show you that they got funded. But what I always found was that after they got funded, they would blow up. I think that the performance indicators that they ask for at Top Step Trader is too high. And now that there's micro futures, there's no reason to do it. Unless you really are like the most amazing trader in the world, and then at that point, like I would have a hard time believing that there is a trader out there that is that good that they can basically make like 20% a year and doesn't have enough money
Michael
for their own
XC says,
account.
well, I mean, they are called Top Step Trader.
Right. That guy that's that good
Popularity Matters
has a
says
live
people
account,
will do it
you know?
because they want the size.
Has
Air
a live
Cages
account.
says plenty of people who get funded. Nobody is making money though.
And he probably is able to build up a large account over time, So I just don't think that he would have the incentive to do it. I really don't. I mean, he would have to be like a really weird situation. It would have to be like this guy, he traded for a firm for years and years and years, and then he stopped trading with that firm, but he did something stupid and lost all of his money that he made while he was working at the firm, but he knows he's still a good trader, so now he wants to trade to make it up.
Forex traders buy Lambos, how about them guys? Popularity Matters says most traders suck, so TST's model is PPL signing up again and again. Air Cages says a pro trader from the slums of Pakistan?
Well, Forex is an interesting one because you can get lucky with Forex, man. I mean, when you catch one in Forex, you catch one. I had a friend, he was messing around with Forex. He doesn't do it anymore, but he bought a whole car, brand new car, with a trade that he made off of Forex. And then he stopped trading it because I think he realized that he just got lucky. But it's true, most traders suck. I think popularity matters. I think that we can do something about that. I think, like the statistic is like 95%. I don't think that it needs to be that way. And I don't think
Michael
that,
XC says, yeah, but guys with Bitcoin buy Lambos.
Well, I haven't been seeing anybody buying Lambos with their Bitcoins as of late, have you? That was a strong push in
Air
the
Cages
E-mini.
says
Now they're
Garlic
really selling.
Michael XC says too.
Yeah, when I'm rich with garlic coins, though, I'm not going to buy a Lambo, folks. Hey, if I was going to buy a ridiculous car.
Michael XC says nope.
Nope. If I was going to buy a ridiculous car, which I would not, by the way, but if I was going to, I think I would rather have a Ferrari. I'm just saying. Is that snooty? I don't know anything about supercars, but I think
Popularity Matters says I saw a kid go from 2,500 to 100K from Forex. He caught a runner.
Wow. Wow. Well, it's just, yeah. And that can happen with, hold on a second. It can happen in options
Popularity
too, right?
Matters says I think we are doing it wrong, guys. Catch a runner and dump everything in it. Lol.
This is kind of weird. So I noticed that there was a zipper in the 10-year. They fell out of the zipper and came back up. False breakout can sometimes suggest that they're going to move higher. I can see in the 30-year in particular, but also in the 5-year, that activity has really died down. So that could suggest, that could suggest that they're getting ready, that they're ready to move, that it's died down, and now somebody's going to step in and make a move. Normally I would say short, but because, that would suggest short because the last swing was up, but that one's really hard to tell. But then I look over at the E-mini. The E-mini broke the regular session low. They haven't broken like the overnight high opening range or any of that. But it does look extremely negative over there, which would suggest buying. So I'm more interested in the world is falling apart trade war trade, so I would rather buy. Okay. It might be too late to get a fill now. It's clicking a lot on the ask. I really want to take one here, but I just don't think we have the time. I don't think that it's wise. I don't think there's any way to fix the Streamlabs chat widget with YouTube. That sucks. But you know what? We don't need it. There's just a chat over. Chat is over there, folks. You'll see it. We don't need to show it on the screen. We're just gonna use that room for other things. I don't know, folks. So now they're all spiking.
Air Cages says my old laptop fan would really rev up once the DOM action got good. That's when I knew the action was good enough to take a trade.
Oh, really? Well, my CPU could be doing that right now for all I know, and I wouldn't even hear it. There's definitely, I mean, like look at it from a minute perspective, okay? Since we've been trading, there's a lot more activity now than there was back when we were like at the lows, for instance. You can actually see down here when it pushed down into the 20, and it did it here as well.
Rajneesh Patel says hi bro.
Hey, how's it going? But you can see here, that was a really good signal, man. I really should have taken that one. Where's my pen? Pen hasn't been opening up for me lately. Oh, there it is. See that spike right there? That's where we should have bought it. But now they're setting up for something I can't necessarily tell which way it's going to go. Alligator says leaning on negative, and they are pushing the downside. Well, the E-mini moved up, so maybe they're going to move down. So it would have been dead wrong. Would have been dead wrong, because I would rather. But I only want to buy. I don't think that there was anything about the chart that it was making me say that. Well. Yeah. It's okay. All right, guys. Well, I guess we didn't end up taking a trade today. But you know what? It's the kind of day that
Michael
I guess it would
XC
make
says
sense.
17 watching.
Yeah, thank you. It is, you can tell, it is a little bit, I mean, normally we have 22, but I think people realize it's really slow and nothing interesting is happening, which is okay. But for those of you guys that are here, first of all, I really appreciate you. I have fun. And
Rajneesh
hit
Patel
that
says,
like
can you
button.
buy Indian share stock?
I don't know. Is that a stock? I haven't really been watching the stocks lately. Maybe I should get more into it. I was watching AMD yesterday. Holy crap, AMD. They are just killing it right now, and I don't have no clue how to even value it. Maybe it's worth more, but I don't know. But it sure seems interesting, and I would like to go and find out. But no, if you haven't hit that like button already, I really appreciate it. The like button really helps out, guys. I'm begging you, please. Please click the like button. Thank you very much. There we go. I can actually see them like over here. It tells me the likes. There we go. So if I get on my hands and knees, that'll get more people to click the like button. That's what we got to do, folks. It really helps. Also, the comments help. So come back. You know, like when we end the stream, it'll process the video and then it'll turn into a regular YouTube video. And then you can comment on it like a regular video. So come back and scroll down and leave a comment about how frustratingly slow today was. How frustratingly slow. I really should have taken that trade. I didn't really see that one that was happening.
Rajneesh Patel says, how can you set up your desktop? Luis Alarid says, free commission now on stock trading.
Yeah, the free commissions does help. Ranesh, I think you're gonna have to be a little bit more specific
Rajneesh
about
Patel
that.
says, really good.
I mean, do you want to set it up like the way that I have it set up? I don't quite understand the question. Set up what about the desktop? It's okay. We We actually have a lot of people on stream that where English is not their first language, so I understand if you have a hard time communicating, which is just take your time and we'll figure it out.
Rajneesh Patel says, bro, can you help me?
Probably I can. Yeah. But I don't, we gotta understand your problem a little bit more first. In the meantime, let's.
Acareo says the Russell moved a bit. Didn't take it because I was concerned.
You think?
Rajneesh Patel says, how can trade you?
How can trade you? Well, here's how I do this.
Luis Alarid says, doing well on DAX.
You make as many numbers show up as possible. Does that make sense? As many numbers as possible, and then just click on things. That's how you do it. I'm just kidding. Oh man, that came down hard in the 5-year. Are they gonna buy it down here again though? Let's watch. Let's watch it on this one and see if
Michael XC says you need to pay for the top platform. The bottom platform is free.
Yes, Michael is correct. So this.
Air Cages says you need to be really good to trade the Seth.
Yeah, you need to be really good to trade the Seth. We need to make Seth coin so that we can say these sorts of things and they would actually make sense. No, so Ranesh, if you're asking how to set up the platform to use these tools, there is a video called "What is the best futures trading software platform?" on my channel, and that will give you all of the information that you want about that.
Rajneesh Patel says yes.
Yes. Okay. So, but just quick, this top stuff is called Jigsaw Day Trader. Day Trader is spelt weird. In fact, I'll put it here in
Rajneesh Patel says thank you.
Yes. Jigsaw Day Trader with an R and Ninja Trader 8. I think that's the information that
Speculator Seth says a Ninja Trader 8. Speculator Seth says Jigsaw Day Trader.
There we go. Cool. I'm glad we were able to. How did you were good job, Michael. You that was a good leap that I was not able to make to help that guy out. Oh yes, we were posting some notes here, weren't we? Oh, they went lower. That went lower. The E-mini bought up again. E-mini is definitely in charge here, folks. Well, the 5-year didn't go lower, but the 10-year did. That's interesting. The 10-year got sold hard.
Luis Alarid says USDJPY spiking up.
Oh, I see that. No, I see oil is spiking. So is it? This must be moving because of oil. Oil is moving much higher. What was the news on oil? Let's look. What was their numbers? Oil inventory, a build of crude 1.379 million, Cushing negative 2.295, gasoline 1.7, and distillates negative 974,000. And they see that as bullish, huh? Okay, so you're maybe getting a buy.
Rajneesh Patel says, can you invest in Nifty and DMZ?
No. Well, with this platform, no. This platform is only for futures. So commodities like oil, treasuries, gold, corn, wheat.
Rajneesh Patel says DMZ mean Domino's Pizza, Inc.
Yeah. So this platform is primarily for futures. I think Ninja Trader 8 is starting to build some stock stuff into it. But I don't day trade. I don't recommend day trading stocks because the information that you can see on the screen is not available for stocks. So obviously invest in stocks like swing trade over multiple day time frames on stocks, because there's definitely opportunity in stocks. Just don't try and day trade them on short time frames, because you don't have enough information to make good decisions. Okay, so it is definitely spiking. Now ES.
Rajneesh Patel says bye. Seth, talk to later.
Hey, thank you. I'm glad I could help. Glad I could help. What are we doing? Oh, yes.
Ace Trade says at air cages the old fan indicator.
Boom, 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 boom. 27. No, it's, yeah. This post will be available on the 27th. Okay. Good. All right, well, we did get a good move down. I thought it would have been a buy, but it wasn't. It didn't necessarily ever give us a strong
Ace Trade
signal.
says possible short if it hits 3,116.00, but give it a second.
Okay. There does appear to be some sort of a pullback happening here, so I think that Ace Trade's trade makes sense. I think it's about time for me to go. I want to do a couple of things. I'm going to try posting the video to Facebook. So, again, if you look in the video description, I have linked my Facebook page and 2 Facebook groups that we've created for you guys, an order flow group and a group about treasuries. So, yeah. Check those out.
Michael
join those
XC
groups. Should
says
be
does
fun.
Ace only trade S?
I think Ace only trades S, yeah. And of course, if you haven't already, hit that like button. I really appreciate it. Hit subscribe and hit the bell icon, because if you hit the bell
Ace
icon...
Trade says at Michael XC generally, sometimes the Russell.
Oh, okay. I didn't know sometimes there's a Russell. Anyways, if you hit the bell icon, it's a lot easier to find the stream when we're live every morning. So, I will leave you with that. Hope you guys enjoyed everything, the new cam and all of that. And I'm happy. I appreciate you guys coming in and talking with me in such a slow, awful market. Because man, if we didn't have this, man, ooh, that would really suck. Can you imagine watching paint dry by yourself? I think watching paint dry with other people could be fun, but by yourself, no, that's awful. Anyways, guys, I will catch you tomorrow. And in the meantime, stay profitable, friends.